You know, Nikki Haley made a big announcement on Valentine's Day. She is indeed running for president in 2024.
Republicans have lost the popular vote in 7 out of the last 8 presidential elections. That has to change. Joe Biden's record is abysmal, but that shouldn't come as a surprise. The Washington establishment has failed us over and over and over again. It's time for a new generation of leadership.
Haley, the former governor of South Carolina and former UN ambassador, is also only the second candidate to confirm a 2024 run. And Niall Stanage, White House columnist for The Hill, sitting down for an exclusive interview with former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. You know, he threw a little shade at Nikki Haley, sharing his thoughts about her running for the White House. So let's listen to that.
She left some 2 years into the administration when there was still an enormous amount of work to do. Think we hadn't done the Abraham Accords yet. We hadn't concluded our mission with Chairman Kim yet. I don't understand how someone who believes that they have this incredible opportunity in an important role says, no thanks, I don't want to do that anymore.
Niall, do you think that's going to be a hurdle that she'll have to overcome in terms of the perspective or the outlook of the American public?
I think it's more a shot by former Secretary Pompeo at her in relation to the potential of him making a 2024 bid. They would have rather similar appeals, conservatives who are particularly strong on national security, and he's trying to cast her, obviously, as a quitter. I think the problem from a political standpoint with his argument is he's really accusing her of disloyalty to President Trump. But if loyalty to President Trump is your main objective as a Republican voter, you're going to vote for the former president. I think Nikki Haley is a serious candidate. It's interesting the way her video that she just released marries her own background as the daughter of Indian immigrants to this broader issue about the Republican Party expanding its appeal and therefore becoming more electorally successful, as she sees it.
Yes, that new generation. Definitely a headline from Nikki Haley for many, many moons now. You mentioned Mr. Pompeo himself considering a 2024 run. So let's listen to that part of the interview.
Every time I've been called to serve in America, I have. If we do, we'll go, just like I do in the book now, we'll go make arguments. It's not about tweets. It's not about noise. It's not about owning the libs. It's about presenting a rational argument about how to get our government to function.
Does he have a chance?
I think he is an outside bet. I mean, clearly he has held very senior positions, not only as Secretary of State, but as a former CIA director. He served several terms in Congress before that. He is way back in the polls. I mean, not just behind Trump and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, but behind people like Nikki Haley. I think the real challenge for him, and I pressed him on this in the interview, is what would the rationale for a Mike Pompeo run be? And you saw him say there in the clip about making our government function, but like everybody believes that, no disrespect to him. Like that's the sort of argument that you hear from candidates all the time. What would the unique selling point of a Pompeo candidacy be? That's still not entirely clear to me.
Yeah, well, he was very broad. He perhaps wanted to wait and give himself some time to collect more of a platform. But right now, I got to ask you really quickly about the balloon. The confirmed Chinese spy balloon and then the other objects that are found in the sky. There have been some claims by the Biden administration that some of this activity had been happening during the Trump administration, but Pompeo denying that. Do we have any confirmation?
This is a messy situation, Adrienne. He does deny that the Trump administration had any awareness of this. And more recently, the Biden administration has seemed to concede that point, but they frame it differently. The Biden administration, particularly spokesman John Kirby, saying that the Trump people didn't detect this program, whereas the Biden people did. That's a different charge from the one that was originally laid against the Trump people, that they had somehow known about it but taken no action.
I'm sure we'll hear more about those reports and more about whatever objects are floating above the U.S. Hopefully there won't be. But Niall, thank you as always. Great interview.
Thanks, Adrienne.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.